Hello, everybody. How's it going today? Happy New Year. It's good to be back in the old office after a nice little holiday break. But I'm happy to be back. My gift to myself was we got a nice new streaming chair, so I've gonna set that up so that when the guest comes in, we'll have a nice new comfortable chair for them to hang out with us. Speaking of guests, this Thursday I am going to have our associate producer here at Fantasy Flight Interactive, Charlie Bates. He's going to be joining us for this stream to talk a little bit about the logistics of Lord of the Rings, how we are going to be moving forward with it, and some other systems that I'm excited to go into detail with Charlie to discuss. After that, next week, Charlie is actually going to be hosting the stream. That's going to be because I am out of the office, based on the fact that I will be doing a press tour for Lord of the Rings, going around showing it to some of the gaming press around the country. Start talking to them for a while and show them some new content. We're really excited to get this out in front of press, so very excited to go out and do that. And then I kind of have a big announcement for those of you who will be at PAX South. We will have the game at PAX South at the Fantasy Flight Asmodee booth. The game will be playable to people there. People will be able to get their hands on the a first demo of the game. As well as I'll be showing some things to the show floor there, so people can take a look there. Come talk to me, say hi. If you're a regular here in the stream and you'll be at PAX South, come say hi, please. Introduce yourself, and maybe get to try out the game a little bit. So that's those announcements done. Oh yeah, Twitch streams. Some of the archives are starting to go because there's a 14-day limit on Twitch if you're not a partner. We are working on partnership status, so that's something that'll be in the future. I'm gonna upload them as VODs here to the archive on Twitch, and they'll also be going on YouTube at some point in the future. Currently, we're just in the process of making sure that that's all approved to have it in an archived place other than Twitch. So that's going to be happening pretty soon here. But yeah, those videos are going to exist. We're not taking them down ourselves. That's because of the Twitch process and because of some of the nature of archiving here on these streams. But you'll be able to see those videos quite soon again. And like I said, they're going to go up on our YouTube page as well. We're just working through the process of getting them archived. Let me see what else I've got here on my notes. So hopefully you were here to join us for Thursday when we had Caleb on the stream. Caleb Grace, the lead developer on Lord of the Rings, the card game, the physical tabletop game. If you are not, those streams will be available. I'm going to jump over to the menu so that you can take a look at the game while we're talking. Those videos are still available on Twitch as well. I think Caleb had a lot of really interesting insights into the game. It was also really exciting to be able to play with him because some of the strategies that he thought of were things that didn't even process for me when I've been in my time playing this game, which has not been an insignificant amount of time. But if you missed those streams, yeah, go back and watch those. There's a lot there, so I think that they are worth taking a look at. Let's see what else I've got here. Oh, there were some questions in a Steam thread about some of the exclusivity of cards. I think some people are confused about the difference between hero packs and Valor cards. So there are no cards that are hidden behind any kind of paywall. Every card in the game can be unlocked using Valor currency, which is the earned currency that you get for playing the game. So yeah, there's no cards that are going to be locked behind payment. As for the whole early access thing, we kind of used the term beta to describe that, but that's sort of inaccurate. It's not necessarily beta so much as it is just an early access period. And in order to get access to that early access, you'll have to purchase one of the Founders Packs. This is a system that we've seen a lot on Steam. It's a way to make sure that we are getting fans who are invested in the game and that they have some currency to play with when they load up. But yeah, if you are joining us in the early access period, you're going to purchase one of the Founders Packs, and the contents and specifics and pricings of those Founder Packs are going to be detailed later. We talked about it a little bit earlier with the pricing. Tim mentioned what we have for the tiers. So there's going to be a $9.99, a $19.99, and a $39.99. but what you get within those packs is going to be more specific later. So yeah, that's just a couple of details. We can go over some other questions later, but I'm going to reply to that Steam thread. I think Engage, I think you started that. I'm going to reply to that and put all that information in there. So yeah, we'll just make sure that you guys all find out about that. So without further ado, I think people... Oh, the general disclaimer. Everything that you see here is going to be a work in progress. Nothing is final. Everything is currently in the process of development. We're opening up these Twitch streams so that you guys can take a look at the game, where it's at and where it's going to be, and kind of watch it develop alongside with us and give us suggestions as we are building it as well. So nothing is final. Everything is currently work in progress, and I think that's important to note. But we're pretty happy with where it's at. I think you're going to see there's going to be a lot of interesting changes from the past week even. One of the big things that we've been doing is we've been tweaking Sauron's AI a little bit. Not because we were unhappy with the way it was before, but just because we wanted to give it a little bit of diversity in strategies and kind of talk a little bit about how we think that he should play. So you're going to see a more difficult Sauron than we were showing before. So I hope you're excited to see that. I was having a little bit of trouble getting through the quests before, and I know I say that every stream because I always have a little bit of trouble, but we'll see if I can make it through Quest 1, which I'm going to show you guys again today. But before that, let's jump into the deck builder, which we have not shown off before. I know some people are really, really excited here. So let's jump into the deck builder before anything else. Also, intrepid viewers will notice the accent over the I in Palantir, which is something that we also corrected. So let's jump into decks here. Okay, so when you jump into the deck builder, you see I'm just going to take off the overlay for just a second so that you can see the whole thing without any distractions on the screen. So it's pretty simple, pretty run-of-the-mill in terms of what we have, but it's deep enough where there's complexity, and you can kind of take a look at what you have in your collection. We've got our starting heroes, which we've shown before, and we've got our default deck, which is what every player is going to get once they complete the tutorial. I'm back. Okay, so up here we have tabs. We have the hero cards, the regular cards, favor cards, which we've talked about a little bit. These are little bonuses that can be purchased with Valor or in-game currency. They can help you on your journey. They're like simple effects that you can add after you mulligan in order to mitigate some of the difficulty that's naturally built into Lord of the Rings. And then there's, of course, the Sauron cards, which is once you encounter things within the adventures, you're going to be able to click on this tab in order to take a look and see what Sauron has. And then there's the card backs, which are going to be the cosmetic rewards that you can get from the Founders Packs or through other means. So first of all, let's jump in. Take a look at some of the cards we've got here. I know some people were asking about seeing that final spirit card, so I can show it to you right now, actually. We'll go back and take a look at all this, but the final spirit card that you'll see in this starter pack is Woodland Courier, which is actually a pretty exciting card. 2 cost, 0 attack, 2 willpower, and 2 defense. And when it arrives, you can apply 1 progress to the objective. So much like the other cards we've seen from the Spirit Sphere, say that 3 times fast, much like the other cards we've seen from that sphere, it can help you complete the objective even as you have a sentinel on board or for some other reason your progress is blocked. So we've got that. So people are asking about some of the rarity too. That's more for sorting through the cards and the way our hero packs work out, rather than denoting a rarity in terms of randomized packs, of course, because that's not something that we have here in Lord of the Rings. No, the hero decks are not random. So the reason we have these rarities built in is it's not only to sort through, it's to sort through power levels as well, and it also determines what tier you're going to be getting within the Founders Packs. So also some people noted that we have Close Call here, so there are a couple of cards in here in this deck builder right now that are not within the core set. That's Close Call here. Ganbury Gone, which is another one. And I think I've got another one here that I can show you guys. Oh, Reinforcements. which is another leadership card that, much like Sneak Attack, grabs random non-unique allies and puts them into play. So yeah, this is the deck builder, and we can start building a deck if we'd like. So let's start a new deck. Let's see if we've got this function. There we go. So first thing, obviously, is that you got to start with your heroes. So depending on who you want to add to your deck, you just click them and add them to the deck list here. You've got your starting threat, which is going to add, and that's sort of the identity of the deck. You can rename it with the button here. So we're going to call the deck, let's see, we'll call it Stream Deck, because we're going to build it together. There we go. And we're ready to take a look. So let's build a deck here with Frodo for sure. You see a voice line there plays whenever we click on and add a new hero. Yes, that is placeholder text here at the bottom for those asking this deck mat here. Let's see what else we've got. We can add Arwen to the deck as well, and Aragorn. Let's build a willpower deck built around getting a lot of allies into play and see if we can have some success with that. So before anything else, we should add the staple cards, kind of the cards that define those spheres, so that we have a nice basis for building a deck. Let's start with gaining strength, which is a personal favorite. These ally decks would really do well with Gallagher Archer, but unfortunately, since they are part of the tactics sphere, we're not going to be able to add that to the deck either. What else can we do? Let's add Gandalf. I think we're going to have a lot of resources, so we'll be able to add 2 Gandalfs to the starting deck. If you have suggestions in the chat too, let me know, and we can maybe add them to the deck. None of the cards shown here are going to be level 2 or 3 because most of them are coming from the core starter set. We'll add Guard of the Citadel, Horseback Archer. We'll add Mithrander's Advice because I think that it's hard. I'm hard pressed to make a lore deck with this core set without adding that character in there. I mean that card, excuse me. We'll play the Ithilien Lookout, who is a 2/3 for 3 with 2 willpower, pretty strong. We'll have some more healing in the Caregiver as well. Got to get that Lembas in there. Oh yeah, we haven't seen Lembas Bread yet. Yeah, this is one of the more charming cards I think you'll find within the set. Lembas Bread allows you to ready a character and heal 2 damage from it for a cost of 2. Let's add that in there. Yeah, let's take a look at Bjorn too. Stalwart cannot have attachments. Gains 1 attack for each point he is below maximum health. So as he takes damage, his attack increases, and you can see he's got the unique up here as well, and at a cost of 5. So he's a pretty powerful ally. Let's see what else we've got here. Let's add Gonburian. We've got 1 copy of it. Secret Paths will allow us to work towards the objective even when we are not clear completely. We'll add Sneak Attack. Oh, here's Tom. We haven't looked at Tom either. Tom's a 4-cost ally with 3 attack, 4 defense, and 3 willpower, fleeting, and then when it arrives, you get to just discard a non-unique enemy. So Tom is a pretty powerful legend here within the game. He's going to come in and get rid of an enemy on the board. Let's see what else we can add to the deck. You see he's also one of the neutral allies, so we talked a little bit about Gandalf being one of the neutral allies, but Tom's also going to be one, which is pretty exciting. A lot of these cards also are, subject to change within what they do, as we continue to tweak and test before early access release. So this is kind of a fun glimpse at what we have planned for you. So let us see what else we have. Reinforcements is actually a level 2 leadership card, so we're not going to be able to add it to our deck. I think I mentioned earlier that we wouldn't have those, but Reinforcements is going to be the exception to that. It is a level 2 leadership card, so unless we have 2 leadership heroes, we're not going to be able to include it in our deck, which is unfortunate, but it's pretty powerful. It doesn't give the fleeting that Sneak Attack gives, so it really just pulls a random ally for you and keeps it in play. That's a pretty powerful effect, but, you know, the RNG of it means that it sort of balances out. Let's add Wandering Took to our deck. We'll put the Warrior Sword in. Oh, we can't because there's no tactics. We'll put Warden in for sure. So we still need 6 cards here. Let's take a look and see what we can play. We could put the Courier in. Currently, the level of the card is indicated by the pips here on the bottom. So you see there's the two purple pips there. That shows that it's a level 2. Starbruch can give a character Vigilant, which I don't think would be that useful within this deck, but maybe we'll end up adding it anyway. Let's put in Watchful Peace to reduce our threat. Favor of the Lady, we can put it on an ally in order to increase their ability to work towards the objective. Yeah, so COTR, I see you're asking about how some of the cards are 1 and some of the cards are 2. That's just the nature of my collection right now, pre-beta. There are ways to get 2 copies of a single card, either through Valor, through purchasing, or through another pack. There's also ways to get them through the Palantir, which is kind of a reward system, and we'll show you those as well in the future. You can sort by sphere. You can sort by which one you want to take a look at, and you can take a look at your types as well. So if I want to just look at allies because I want to add more allies to my deck, I can click on that and take a look at it. If I specifically want allies from like the leadership, I can take a look at that. If I want to see them from lore, I can take a look through there. And even if I want to take a look at the neutral allies, you see I've got Gandalf and Tom Bombadil here. Attachments are the same, no neutral attachments, but I can take a look at these. I can even take a look at all of the event cards and sort them by sphere as well. I can sort them by cost in addition. So if I really want to get specific about a card in my curve, like I really want an attachment at this place in the resource curve, or if I want a certain ally that can fill out a role in the early game, I can easily access that too. So you see, we've got some pretty interesting features here. I was very excited to show you guys the deck builder today. So let's finish this deck up and then take it out for a spin. We've got a slot open for 1 more card, or 2 1-ofs if we wanted to do that. Sword, I see you're asking about this game. It's actually not just quests. It's it is in fact a PvE card game. So it is a narrative-based card game. So you're going to be going through these locations, completing quests, and completing objectives as a solo or cooperative. We'll take a look at some of the quests later, so stay tuned, and you can take a look at some of the actual gameplay. I'm trying to figure out what we should play for our last card here, folks. I'm just not sure. We could play the Woodland Courier, excuse me. But I don't know if we really want... We're a little low on attack power, so I don't think we want a 0 attack ally. I think it might be smarter to just have a way to hedge our bets against entering enemies. So let's try Advance Warning. So this deck is entirely untested here. We will see if it does any good. Reagan, if you didn't note it, earlier today I noted that those streams are not going to be gone forever. I'm going to be archiving them here on Twitch and on YouTube. I have saved archives of both of those. We are just working on the process of getting those videos approved for posting, but they will be up soon. You'll be able to take a look at those through that. With 26 starting threat, this deck is pretty low on its starting threat. I'm not sure how it's going to do against this first quest, but let's take it out for a spin. Let's hit play and jump in. We've also, you see, we've kind of sorted the menu a little bit. We've redesigned the quest marker here. You can take a look at Sauron's cards using the contextual button. Made some changes. So let's jump into that first quest one more time. Go ahead and load up this. Here it is. See, we've also made some minor changes to the backgrounds here. The map zoomed in on Mirkwood Forest so you can see exactly where our location is. Hey, thanks for subscribing to the YouTube channel.
Not long after entering the forest, you were surrounded by evil.
We will see how I fare against Sauron's, some of the changes we made to Sauron here. So for our opening hand, we are trying to swarm with allies and build them up incrementally with attachments. So we'll keep guard of the Citadel. We'll keep the Archer in case we need to ping an enemy to take it down. I think the rest of these cards we can get rid of while we search for a way to gain resources or cards. There's going to be a starter deck, Kuro, but the auto deck function is not something that we're going to be having in the early access period currently. Let's take a look here. So we did get gaining strength. We have self-preservation, which we can throw on a hero to make sure that they stay alive. Sauron's got a kind of a beefy board here. The Dol Guldur Orcs, Eastbite Patrol, the Elites, who are 3/5 with Vigilant, which is something that we're going to have to worry about quite a bit. Another objective in Block Path. And we've got the Spiders here, whose names aren't showing up, but they're a 3/4 Sentinel. Yeah, you can see we've temporarily added this this planning over the button here. This is kind of our solution to making sure the players know when the phases are. We've also added some staging so that it's a little bit clearer where you are within the game. And we've colored the resources to sort of bring your attention to it in case you lose track of where you're at or you know, the importance of those things. So we are ready to go. Oh, I started with the starter deck rather than the deck that we built. Let's jump back out and try that one more time. Sorry, folks. Clicked on the wrong one there. Yeah, the interesting thing about gaining strength is that it's pretty powerful, but when you should play it is kind of a separate question, because there's things like the objective that Sauron can play to take away your resources. So obviously holding it in hand is pretty important there. And you could also, since it's a 0 cost, you can also play it at certain times in order to sort of pass, as it were, and stop attacking before Sauron attacks. So you can kind of bait and switch him using that. So I don't know. There's a lot of interesting depth to gaining strength because it is a 0 cost way to gain another resource like that. It's kind of a low investment way to play a card. I think that's an interesting amount of depth. Here we are with the right deck finally. So let's keep Secret Paths. And let's keep Sneak Attack. Let's get rid of the more expensive allies. I don't know if this deck is going to do well because those allies are so expensive, but we'll see if we can. Here we are. So you see that's one of the functions that I was talking about to make sure that it's clear when it's your turn versus Sauron's turn and what's going on here. Vigilant, yeah, Vigilant means that it does not exhaust after its first attack, so it gets technically 2 activations. Those usually come in the form of attacks, but you know, if it's not exhausted, there are other things Sauron can do with it. So this time, no Spider. Instead, he decided to hoard his resources here. So let's see how we can move forward. This Guard of the Citadel is going to die immediately to an elite attack if we play him, but I don't see many other options. Our opening hand is not great. There's a lot of reactive cards with Lembas and the 2 caregivers. I almost want to just sneak attack turn 1 and see what I get. Kind of work towards attacking with that. Let's do that. Okay, well, the Took is at least another ally that can contribute some damage to the board. Hopefully clear out some of these enemies. We could Secret Paths to mean that we only need 1 activation on the block path there. That doesn't seem terrible, but because it's an event that we can play during the adventuring phase, I don't think we need to play it now. Maybe we just sit on our 2 resources. Oof. Okay. We'll attack with Aragorn. And we'll ready up Aragorn a second time in order to clear out this Sentinel. You can see what attachment got played on this Eastbite Patrol. It's got block now. Okay. So it's going to negate the first point of damage that it takes. So both of our one attack heroes here are useless actually against this Eastbite Patrol unless we increase their attack some way. So I guess we have to end the phase there. So that's another one of the splash screens that we've added to the game in order to make it a little clearer where we are in the phasing. Let's see what else we've got here. On our upkeep, we get to heal. We will heal. Uh-oh. Looks like the trigger on R1 isn't going through right now. So we'll have to we will have to back out and reboot in order to get that working one more time. Yep. We will try one more time. Stealth works once all the enemies are once all the other characters are exhausted, that character can be attacked. And so since we had our other characters exhausted, Sauron was able to attack. So I'm going to reboot real quick so that we can jump back in. Yeah, so you can kind of see some of the cosmetic changes that we've made to the game. Some of the other changes, Sauron's a little bit more aggressive than he was before. And you can kind of see we are ever so slightly making changes as we continue to develop the game, which is pretty exciting. Hopefully that deck saved. That crash didn't change that at all. Let's jump in. And we've got our stream deck set. I'm double checking every time now so that we don't have another issue like that. And we'll get into the starting board. So you can see that the starting board within that first quest stays static, other than the card that Sauron chooses to play. So you'll always know kind of how those initial objectives will stage. Yeah, I don't mind that. We'll count this as a free mulligan. We'll keep gaining strength, keep sneak attack, and we'll keep horseback archer. Mulligan the other two. Yeah, people asking about a retry button. That's something we can consider. Hopefully you won't have to reload too often, but you know, second attempts and things like that is something that we are definitely thinking about as the game continues to ramp up in difficulty. That's something that is just a reality of the way the game plays. So that's something we are definitely considering at least. So the Eastbite Patrol there attacks Frodo, putting him down to 4, which is a little unfortunate. We could gaining strength, sneak attack, and see if we can clear one of these guys. And because they're at so low health, I think that's actually worth doing. So let's do that. There is a tutorial in place, and I will be showing it very, very shortly here on stream. Oh, why didn't we didn't grab an ally right now, it looks like. That's unfortunate. Like I said, there are still kinks that we are working out, so that is too bad. Yeah, the tutorial's in a pretty good place here, and I'm excited to show it as we continue to... Oh, ran into another crash here. That is unfortunate. We are going to jump back out and show the... try this one more time with the starter deck again, because I think we're having some trouble with this build. So let's go in with the starter deck and see if we have any more luck progressing. Sorry about that, folks. We won't be able to take a look at that stream deck. But, you know, as we continue, this is a work in progress. That's something to talk about. There is a glossary. The way that is going to be implemented in the final game is going to be a little bit different than what we've shown so far. The glossary is going to be a little bit more interactive and a little bit more dynamic as you continue to encounter new things. But we want to make sure that this game stays as accessible to as wide of an audience as possible while maintaining some sort of complexity. I think that's super important. And that's something that we, as developers, are talking about quite a bit, too, because that's kind of the Fantasy Flight philosophy. So let's jump in. Alright, here we will put a warrior sword on Aragorn. We have our archers so they can pick somebody off, and we're also going to put a shield on Aragorn. We're going to make him the main combatant here, and then we'll have Gimli on cleanup, and Arwen to heal and protect our characters as we play. Player-controlled reactions. What do you mean by that, Lulzer? We could either get in the activation from Gimli, or we can pick it off with Gallidhorn Archer on the next turn. I think we should just clear it with Gimli while we've got the chance. So now one of the archers can take out the patrol, who I believe has Vigilant now. Yep. We'll end the round there. So now once Sauron passes an attack, we've got that splash screen showing up so that you can know what's going on. One of the important things now is that we are making sure that phasing is very clear, and character actions versus player actions are also very clear. So there's a couple of little touches like that that have been added since the last time that we've shown the game.
You breathe so loud I could shoot you in the dark.
Oh, those sort of May effects and reaction effects are handled through preparation cards. So they're similar mechanically, but they do work a little bit differently, for sure. One of the important things to note is that this game is inspired by that tabletop experience, but we are forging our own path in how we are going to develop and plan things, and how it's going to work mechanically. So all of our inspiration and the entire spirit of the game is definitely coming from the digital game. I mean, from the tabletop game and translating over to digital. But as we continue to work with developers, we're changing things too to make sure that they work within this space. Okay. And let's end the phase there so that we can save a resource to activate Aragorn again. We'll have Arwen attack the objective. Reactivate Aragorn to clear this objective. With the buff from Gimli, we can take out this elite orcs, and we can end the round there. And we will buff Arwen with the heal. The Orc Beastmaster brings an Orc Hound with it. And we're back on our turn here. Let's play, I'm a little worried that the Horseback Archer will fall immediately. So you can see what I was talking about with that difficulty. It's the first location, and we've lost Gimli already here. Let's end the phase there. Hand size is 9 for people who are asking within the chat. We'll have the Horseback Archer use its range to take out the Hound without any attack back. We'll have Aragorn clear it. We'll reactivate him to get another activation here. And we'll end the round. We've got 2 gaining strength in hand that we can play at any time to gain more resources. We're going to heal Arwen. I think we should probably put the shield on her, since Aragorn already has his. We can protect both our heroes. We can't lose another one like the way we lost Gimli there. And we will... I'm not going to sneak attack here on an empty board. We've seen how that usually pays off. We'll have Arwen finish the objective, and we'll move on to the next location. So we lost a hero, and one of our other heroes is at 4 life, but hopefully we can make some progress, and hopefully we don't die immediately within this next location. Yeah, Sauron's hand and deck do work a little bit differently. So he's not necessarily going to be discarding. However, there could in the future be some player ways to interact with Sauron's hand. That's not something that we've shown, but that's something, you know, mechanically that is some space that we at least are considering or have thought about. But yeah, Sauron in general, his deck and his hand work differently than the players because, you know, he plays by his own rules. So since we lost a hero and the other one is trapped within a cocoon, we only have Arwen and the Horseback Archer. Oops. Did not mean to click on the Horseback Archer with Arwen's activation there. But we do have only the Horseback Archer and Arwen to clear out the cocoon here. Fortunately, we can get the Warden in play to help us out as well. So we've got that in play. We have a Sentinel 2/4 enemy here. It's an Orc, even though that text isn't currently displaying. We are ready to end the phase. Yeah, if only Gimli had his Limus. Unfortunate. I think I'm going to work towards saving. Oh, I forgot it has Sentinel, so we can't. Well, we'll kill it off with the Gallahorn Archer next round, but this is rough. Okay. We'll target Arwen. There's a 2/8 Sentinel. I don't think we're going to get through that. This might just be the end of our quest here, folks. We'll kill the Orc there. And we'll play the Lookout. Yeah, so proof positive that all of this gameplay is happening live. We this is where we are within the second location in the first quest today. Which is just sometimes how we'll play it. We kind of need a miracle. I'm going to sneak attack here.
Too many irons in the fire.
Oh, this is a new card, actually. To also show that sneak attack is pulling from the entire pool of cards that we have developed right now. Zygnaminer has a power. You can activate it to gain 1 resource. So instead of getting an attack, he can mine for you. He's got 1 attack, 1 willpower, and 2 defense, and he's a leadership character, and he's a dwarf that costs 1. Kind of an interesting little ally there that we haven't seen yet. So I could activate it to... If I did it now, I could feint this 2/8 and then just go completely all in on killing it this round. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'd only be able to do 4 to it. But that might be enough. If not, it gets an attack. Yeah, I think we have to do that. I don't think we have much of a choice here. Oh, it's not letting us feint. That's too bad. Okay. There we go. Now we can. We will reduce it down. The miner goes down. We will attack here. And that's our round. Ooh, these flies keep on adding to the board. At the end of each round, the forest flies add another forest flies for free. And you can see they're kind of adding exponentially to fill up the board. However, clever players will be able to use that to their advantage because since the flies are a little bit weaker, like right now we have the shield on Arwen, so their damage doesn't really mean anything. So these are basically a way to crowd up Sauron's board with useless activations. So that is something that we can definitely do. People are asking about the discard pile. That is something that is factored within the game, and there are ways to play into it that we haven't shown yet. But that is another aspect of the design space that we are playing around with. I'm going to work. I keep on forgetting that this is a sentinel enemy and that we can't do anything towards the objective. We really need a way to draw cards or something here because this is not working out very well. There are ways to draw other cards. Unfortunately, we are not drawing them, so we are just playing off the top of our deck right now. 5 resources, we've got another advance warning. I mean, we've already got one in play, so there's no real point of playing it right now. Driven by Shadow is going to buff up this fly. This one's going to get Stalwart. We have nothing we can play, so we have to move into our activations. Yeah, this is spelling the end for us. I think Sauron's kind of got us in a lock here. Yeah, there is a limit to how many characters the player can have on the board. So we've lost that one. That's that. So that's something that kind of gives you an idea of the changes we've made to Sauron's AI and where he's at in terms of difficulty and challenging. That was playing on medium difficulty. You can see he's sort of more aggressive as well, and so we have to be more protective of our heroes as we continue to play. So let's, yeah, sorry. I guess I'm using the plural here when those mistakes were definitely from me more than they were from anybody there, anybody in the chat. This is all me. Let's jump into the second quest and see if we have any more success doing that. But yeah, so we continue to make some changes. We continue to work on the AI, and we continue to work on the deck builder and things like that. So hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed that look at the deck builder. I'm very excited about some of the possibilities that you can do within that. Deck building's always been my favorite part of card games ever since I started playing them as a youth in high school. There's just something about those aspects of the strategy that really appeal to me personally. So I'm excited to see what other people start building once they get their hands on the game. For those of you who weren't here earlier for when I was talking about it, we will be at PAX South and the game will be available there. If you would like to get a first hands on the demo, if you are going to be attending PAX South, come find us at the Fantasy Flight booth and you can take a look at that. I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people taking a look at that in the future. So they will be able to, maybe you'll be able to hear some reports on what the game feels like, how to play it, but hopefully these streams are giving you a good idea as well. Let's keep Horseback Archer, gaining strength, and Mithrander's Advice, which we'll probably just end up playing turn 1. We choose our hero to avoid the spider traps. We'll pick Aragorn because of his action economy. We've got another Sentinel Spider here. We'll Mithrander's Advice. Draw some cards. Looks good to me. And then I think I want to play out the Axe Hand, so I'm going to gain some strength. Play out the Axe Hand. And move forward from there. And let's attack. Nope. Are you going to get an attack in there? There we go. Alright, ready to move forward then. And we will end the round. With our Axe Hand only at 1 health, maybe we'll play the Caregiver to save it if Sauron plays an enemy, but instead he plays a Treachery card, which is kind of his preparations. These will trigger on an event, like if we play an ally, it might exhaust it, or other things. It might destroy an attachment when we play that. It might do something when we attack a character or an objective. There are different Treachery cards, but we have to be very careful of that since Sauron has one in play now. Let's see what we've got. We'll play out the Archer, and we'll leave one resource so that we can potentially activate Aragorn with it if we need to. But with nothing from that preparation card, we are able to move forward from this objective like that. And here we are in the second location. See, we've still got a couple more cosmetic changes, maybe from the last time we've shown this. We'll skip through the story there. Caleb would be upset with me for doing that, but we want to move forward so we can show some more gameplay. We've got our new location here, which will allow us to rescue our friends if we complete the objective in order to progress. We've got a sentineled up spider with counter, a hatchling spider, some crows here, and another enemy, a 2/7 spider that we're going to have to be taking down somehow. I think I want to play the warden here to get another ally on the board. Let's move forward here. Attack with Aragorn. That counter triggers to give the spider another 1 to its attack, and you see Sauron's Treachery card activated. Because of that Treachery card, the enemy that got attacked there stopped the character that it attacked from activating again this round. That card is very strong against Aragorn specifically because of his ability. So we're not going to be able to ready him up. But we don't have any resources to do so anyway. Sauron gains the resources from the Moribund on that character, and we end the round there. So at the start of this new round, our Aragorn again doesn't get to activate because of that Treachery card that Sauron played. So we're only going to be able to activate the Warden unless we play another ally here. Oof. And he deals 1 to each exhausted character, which is also going to be very troubling, especially when combined with that Treachery card. So now Aragorn is at 3 health. Things are looking grim for him again. We're going to play a Sentinel out to defend him a little bit. And we will also play a Caregiver to heal him up, because I think we probably would have some trouble this round if we didn't. And we will end the phase there. Let's attack with our Warden. And our Sentinel is down. We won't be able to get any damage in with the Caregiver, so we will hold them back. In this next round, we gain our resources. We have a shield that we can put on Aragorn to defend from some of these attacks, and those forest flies are back, which are going to end up being the bane of our existence, I imagine. So let's put the shield up on Aragorn. And let's sneak attack a character into play, hopefully to help us with these. Oh, looks like our sneak attack malfunctioned there, so we won't be getting an ally. That's unfortunate. Let's Let's attack the spider with Aragorn. And end the phase there. Sauron passes his attack. More forest flies come into play. We keep getting the arrow log here, unfortunately, so it looks like we're going to have to back out today. I don't think we were very long for this world, which is very unfortunate, so we're going to jump back to the main menu. So you kind of get a look at some of the changes we've made here, some of the things we're still ironing out, and kind of where we are in progress. We've added a lot of polish into the game within the couple weeks since the last time we streamed, and I'm very proud of the way the game looks and plays currently. So let's jump back in the deck builder, because I know some people who weren't here earlier might want to take a look at that as well. Just one more time. So here we are, the heroes. We have a search bar up here, so if I type this in, I can take a look at what comes up. So that's all functional as well. And again, you can sort by sphere. You can also sort by card type when you're within the cards. Here within the Sauron cards, we can take a look and see some of the things that we've encountered in the past. We've got other objectives, other enemies. We've got some sentinel enemies that we saw, like that Hive Guardian earlier that was giving us so much trouble. And you can kind of take a look at some of these here. Yeah, people are noting that the Legolas art changed from the deck builder menu. That's true. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything in terms of what heroes are going to be featured within the core hero packs. So my advice to you would be continue to speculate and continue to watch as we start to reveal some more stuff here. There will be flavor text included. You see here we've got the menu for this, including the illustration, the artist credit here, and this will be where the flavor text and the rest of the card text goes as you highlight a card to take a closer look at it. That's something that we kind of felt was important to continue to show over from the tabletop game into the digital game here. You can take a look at some of the favorite cards as well. You've seen Hidden Cache, which we showed on the stream with Caleb last Thursday. With some of the other ones here, we've got Lorion's Wealth, Elrond's Counsel, and Bjorn's Hospitality. And those are the favorite cards that we've shown so far. See, they're kind of just incremental advantages, not necessarily powerful cards that change the course of the game, or hero cards, anything like that. They're just little bonuses and boons that you can gain. And yeah, so that's the deck builder as a whole. I'm not quite ready to show the card backs that we've got featured in the game. There will be 2 included within every Founders Pack, 3 actually, within each Founders Pack. And there will be, each player will get access to those as they continue to play the game. But I'm not quite ready to show those yet, so we are going to hold off on that. Again, everything that we show you is subject to change, so some of those favorite cards included. Some of those might change, some of those titles might change, some of those effects, we continue to tweak those. That's something that we're really testing to make sure that we get right completely as we continue to play. Also, those titles of the games, those titles of the cards are going to change. We pulled a lot from the tabletop game in order to build those up, but as we continue to test the game, we're going to change what those look like, what those are titled, and even how they play. So yeah. So that's the deck builder. If there are any other big questions, I can take those, but I think we're about ready to wrap up for today. Vivi, we're going to be able to answer that in the future in terms of how much value you're going to get for trying new strategies and how that works. That's not something we're ready to talk about quite yet, but very shortly we should be able to show you kind of how those valor rewards work and what the in-game economy generally looks like in the scope of it. But for now, we are just going to be showing more gameplay and some more of the content as we continue to show you the game. So if that about wraps it up for today. Oh, some people were talking about sorting by multiple spheres. That's not something that we currently have included. You can only sort by the single spheres right now, but that is something that we are definitely thinking about. As you continue to build decks, you're going to see three sphere decks, 2 sphere decks, even 1 sphere decks. So things like that are going to be important to the deck builder. So we will try to help that as well. There are some cards that I don't know if I would say that they support meme decks particularly, but they there are cards that support some random effects, some definitely flavorful things based on tribe characters or characters that you might see within the books. But there we have definitely supported a wide swath of strategies. That's something I could definitely say. yeah, sorry again about all the technical difficulties. Sorry, guys, but that's what an alpha build works like. Hopefully, we'll be able to show you more content in the future. And again, Thursday we're going to have Charlie Bates, our producer here at Fantasy Flight Interactive, on stream to talk a little bit about the game, take a look at it, and give you some of his thoughts on where we're at here. So yeah, thanks again for joining us. As always, you can find us on Twitter at FFI_games, Facebook.com/FFI Games, and here on Twitch, or even on YouTube, where you can follow us at the Fantasy Flight Interactive channel on YouTube, where we'll be posting some more of these stream uploads in the future, trailers, other content. Keep a lookout for some of the other stuff that we're doing with press in the coming weeks. Like I said, we're going to be visiting some other outlets to take a look and give them some exclusive content. So keep an eye on that. I'll be updating Steam with links to that content as it releases. So yeah, we've got a lot of interesting things coming up on the horizon. We're very excited to show it. And again, one more time, we are going to be at PAX South. So if you really want to take a look at some of the cards and some of how the game plays and get your hands on it, PAX South is going to be a great place to do that. We're really excited to get it in the hands of the public. We're excited that it's at a time where we really feel secure doing that. And we're really ready to show you all that. So thanks again. See you Thursday. Thanks for joining us, and have a good week.